We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this college football rebel outpost. With a donation, help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $ where you make your comment, and I'll get to you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. I have been told there is going to be a college football schedule release happening right now. But I haven't seen any reports. Vox Quindaro and everybody else. Where is this happening? I have been checking. Now, there was an announcement that the Big 12 is going to be playing their conference championship football game December 4th, Friday night. Friday night. So they're moving it from noon Eastern time on a Saturday, 11 o'clock Central time, 10 o'clock Mountain time. They're moving it to Friday night on December 4th. Now, they did get good ratings, I believe, this last Big 12 championship game. But I think it's the correct move. I think it's the correct move to go back to that Friday Pac-12 championship game slot. I think it's the correct move for the Big 12. Look, I'm refreshing the Big 12 X account. Okay. I do not know where this schedule is being released. Hi, Greg. Iowa State currently has at least 99 players on scholarship. Have a great show. Catch it later. Again, I have been told it was advertised. I don't know where it is. I do not know. It's on ESPNU. Okay, give me a second here. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Give me a moment. All right, we got it. Now, what I need is for the reporters to report it on X so I can get up on the screen. I'm looking at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's football schedule. They play BYU November 28th. They open up against Boston College, West Carolina, Miami. Kansas State is Cincinnati's first Big 12 game, September 26th. October 9th at Arizona. A bye on October 10th. At West Virginia, October 17th. So what I need is these X accounts, like a Cincinnati Bearcats account. First of all, let me show you the breaking news. Breaking news. Get to these Big 12 football schedules once they start getting posted on X here. Pete Thamel, statement from Duke Athletics on quarterback Darren Mensah. This was just released. Mr. Mensah has an existing contract with Duke, which the university intends to honor, and we expect he will do the same. The court-ordered temporary restraining order issued yesterday ensures he does not violate his contract. The university is committed to supporting all of our student athletes while expecting each of them to abide by their contractual obligations. So that is the Duke Blue Devils. And I would say, just my opinion, if that was any other university, they would be doing the exact same thing. There's no question about it. They would be doing the exact, if they're looking at their contract, they're looking at, their lawyers are saying, we're going to hold up our obligations to the contract. The person who signed the contract is going to have to do the same thing. The Big 12 game, though, it's not being played in Tijuana. Antoine Johnson is in the house. The Big 12 YouTube channel is doing the reveal live, but I'm sure teams already released their schedules. All right. Well, I'm going to keep looking for. Keep your head on a swivel. Let me know if there's anybody. If there's anybody actually reporting on the team schedules. Let me take a look at. Yeah, so I'm looking at Arizona State X account. They do not have their schedule put up on there. Here is the Cincinnati Bearcats schedule. It was just released. Again, they start the Big 12 season against Kansas State, Arizona, West Virginia. At home against Texas Tech, Utah, Houston, Iowa State, Colorado, and ends the season BYU. Home games in the conference: Kansas State, Texas Tech, Utah, Colorado. 5 road games: BYU, Iowa State, Houston, West Virginia, and Arizona. And 3 of those teams, away games, are going to be ranked in the top 25 of the country before the season begins. In fact, I'll let you in on a little secret here. I've been working on my PATC way too early, top 25. And I'll give you a little bit of a peek here. A little bit of a peek here at college football's peek around the corner. I'll give you my 25 through 17. I'm not ready to release it. I'm not ready to do a live show on it. But this is what we got. Illinois, Tennessee, 24 and 25. Arizona, 23. Oklahoma State, 22. Yes, I went there. I absolutely went there. The Oklahoma State Cowboys are going to be in the way too early top 25 PATC. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Or soon to be Greg the Gold, am I crazy like a fox? Eric Morris is going to do his own little bit of Kirk Signetti. A little bit of it. And Oklahoma State's going to be a competitive football team this year. Competitive football team. I'm not going to back away from it. No way am I backing away from this. NBM might be unhappy with me. NBM might be a little unhappy with me. But there's no way I'm backing away from this. Quarterback Drew Messmaker. They got the running back from North Texas, Mr. Hawkins, Caleb Hawkins. Then they brought in the wide receiver, Wyatt Young. Oklahoma State, number 22. And I'm not going to back away from it. Number 21, Iowa. Well, because why not? Do I know who the quarterback is going to be? Why not put Iowa at number 21, the way they played down the stretch? Brandon Jennings coming back another year. SMU at number 20. California. I know a lot of you guys think I'm nuts. I get it. Bring the heat. Bring the heat. The California Golden Bears are also going to be in my top 25. Way too early top 25. Oklahoma State and California. I got to have Louisville up in there. But Oklahoma, 17. A whole lot of people think Oklahoma should be higher on this list. I could not put them any higher. Number 17 is the slot. I get it. John Mateer is coming back, but he's going to have to prove something to me. That offense is going to have to prove something to me. That is your quick little peek at the PATC's way too early top 25. And that's all I'm going to show you for today. We'll get on that tomorrow or Friday. Okay. Where is we're looking at more we're trying to find the Big 12 schedules. It's not really being covered on X. These national football writers are not covering it, guys. Not like they do with the SEC and the Big Ten. Another big example of none of the national guys are covering it. Not your Bruce Feldman. Not your Pete Thamel. Not Josh Pate. None of them. Okay, the Big 12 conference has dropped their overall schedule for all the teams, which of course it's impossible to read. But there it is. There it is. You take Arizona. Now I've got Arizona in my way too early top 25. They're going to be playing, you know what? Let me first check out BYU. Week 2 plays Arizona. Week 5, TCU. Iowa State, Notre Dame on week 7, which we knew. UCF, Arizona State. Week 10, BYU plays Utah in the Holy War. BYU goes on the road to play Utah on week 10. Rivalry week, week 13, Arizona State. So they got that one. They got Baylor at Houston. BYU at Cincinnati is on rivalry week, which is traditional, right? But it's not a rival, obviously. UCF at Colorado. Iowa State, Kansas State, Armageddon, week 13. Kansas at Oklahoma State, week 13. Kansas State, Iowa State, we did that. TCU at Texas Tech, week 13. Utah, West Virginia, at Utah, week 13. Arizona begins the Big 12 season on the road against BYU week 2. Wow. No, that's BYU. BYU conference game week 2. Week 5, Cincinnati. Week 6, West Virginia. Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU, Utah, Kansas State, Arizona State. Man, Arizona has a very difficult Big 12 schedule. Some of these teams do not, look at Texas Tech's schedule. Abilene Christian, Oregon State. Now they do play Houston. Sam Houston State, Colorado, Arizona State, Cincinnati, Arizona, West Virginia. They avoid BYU. BYU and Texas Tech don't play each other. Let's take a look at Houston, who I've got in the top, way too early, top 25. They begin the season Oregon State. Their first Big 12 game is on the road against Texas Tech, week 3. Week 3, Houston on the road versus Texas Tech. UCF Week 5, Kansas State Week 6, Oklahoma State Week 7, Utah Week 8, again on the road. Houston's got to go on the road against Texas Tech in Utah. At home against Cincinnati, on the road to Colorado, on the road West Virginia, and then finishing up at home against Baylor. Take a look at Utah's schedule. They got an Arkansas game week 2. First Big 12 game on the road against Iowa State. At home against Kansas. On the road Colorado. At home Houston. On the road Cincinnati. At home BYU. On the road Arizona. TCU. At home against West Virginia. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to take this off the board here. Very difficult to read. Very difficult to read. Greg, you overvalue the Big 12 a little bit. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, actually. I don't know. I think a lot of Big 12 people would think I undervalue the Big 12 because I've been arguing with Big 12 people all year that they've been saying that the Big 12 measures up with the Big 10 in the middle of the conference, at the bottom of the conference, and I don't even agree with that. But I do love Big 12 football. I love watching Big 12 football. I think it's exciting. I think it's great fan bases. A lot of people say I'm too tough on the Big 12. Now Marcus Williams says I'm overvaluing. Arizona State's schedule is underwhelming, according to Antoine Johnson. Well, they do have a week 2 football game against Texas A&M. Kansas, Baylor, Texas Tech, Kansas State, BYU, Colorado, UCF, Oklahoma State in that on the road against Arizona to end the season. Let me get off this. I can't. Very difficult to read. Let me see if anybody else is covering the Big 12 schedule. Here's Scott Document going over the Iowa State football schedule. So we're getting some coverage. First Big 12 game, Utah. Utah, September 26th. West Virginia, October 3rd. At BYU, October 10th. So the new Cyclones here. This is the new Cyclone football team. New program. At home against Utah. At home against West Virginia. But then they got to go on the road at BYU. A bye, and then at Arizona, October 24th. At home against Oklahoma State. At Baylor. At home against Cincinnati. On the road to UCF. At home against Kansas State. The Cyclones avoid the Texas Tech Red Raiders, but they do play BYU. And they do play Utah. Now, I do not have Utah in my way too early top 25. I think they were just too much change going on. Too much getting bludgeoned by Michigan. So I just can't do it. I cannot, even though Devin Dampier is coming back, I do not have Utah in my top 25. Again, we're just coming on live for a little bit here to cover the Big 12 dropping of their football schedule. A lot of people wanted me to do it, so we're doing it here. I got to say, really, not a whole lot of people are covering this this drop of the schedule. Jason Shear, Arizona 247. He just put out Arizona's schedule. Now, Arizona, I've got them number 23. On my way too early top 25. I think they're going to be one of the top 5 teams in the Big 12, one of the top 6 teams in the Big 12. And the main reason, once again, Noah Fafita is coming back as the quarterback of Arizona. They finished very strong this season. They're going to begin their schedule 2026, Northern Arizona. But right off the bat, boom, at BYU. Noah Fafita, Bear Bachmeier, Lavelle Edwards Stadium, Provo, Utah, September 12th. Wow. Wow. September 19th, Northern Illinois, and they finish off their non-conference slate at Washington State. And then Arizona plays their first home Big 12 game October 3rd against Cincinnati. Then Arizona goes on the road to West Virginia. A bye week. The perfect bye week, October 17th. 17th, 24, that is the perfect slot for a bye week, in my opinion, when you only have one bye week in this season. Arizona then goes at home against Iowa State, then on the road against Texas Tech, October 31st. At home against TCU, at home against Utah, on the road Kansas State, at home against Arizona State. So, BYU and Texas Tech, most people, 99% I think, maybe 95%, whatever, are going to have BYU and Texas Tech as the top 2 Big 12 teams coming into the 2026 season. And Arizona plays both of them on the road. So Arizona is going to get challenged on that. It's going to be a challenge for Arizona. Kind of a tough draw on the schedule. But I have them ranked number 23 in the nation right now. Jared Jones hates that the Big 12 moved their championship game to Friday. I think it's going to work out for them. My opinion, it might not. But I think that Friday night, the atmosphere. Now, the Big 12 game did get a lot of viewership and exposure in that 12 noon Eastern time slot, this last conference championship game. But I think they made the wise move here. I'm not sure. Oklahoma State, number 22. I will take a wait-and-see approach to the Cowboys. Yeah, I've got the Cowboys at 22. Cowboys at 22. California at 19. I know a lot of you are snickering at me. We shall see. We shall see. Thanks, Vox Quindaro. Got to skate. Thanks for dropping on in, Vox. Appreciate it. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. And let's try to take a look at the Kansas Jayhawks schedule. Let me see if they have put it up on there. Here is the Kansas schedule. Starting off the season, September 24th. I think that's Long Island University. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's what that is. Then September 12th, Kansas and Missouri. They're going to do it all over again. All over again. This time, it's going to be in Lawrence, Kansas. Kansas, Mizzou. And I do not have Missouri in my top 25. Way too early top 25 this year. I was so extremely disappointed in Missouri last year. Even though Ahmed Hardy, the great running back, had over 1,100 yards and rushing yards, I cannot put him in my preseason way too early top 25. Maybe I'll move it. But I'm not buying Missouri. Not like I did last year. Kansas, September 19th, Arizona State in London, England. Kansas, Arizona State. October 3rd, Middle Tennessee for the Kansas Jayhawks. October 10th, Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, I think it's a really good idea for Kansas to have that Middle Tennessee game, Lawrence, Kansas, 2 weeks after London, England at Arizona State. It gives Kansas from September 19th to October 10th to recover from whatever happens at London, England, right? They got Colton Nicky back, the offensive coordinator, and they're going to play Utah, Salt Lake City, October 10th. I think that scheduling is is going to help out Kansas to recover from that long London trip. October 17th in Manhattan, they play their arch rival, Kansas State. So Salt Lake City to Manhattan, but then they're back home October 24th. Kansas plays Baylor. October 31st, Fort Worth, Texas against TCU. November 7th, back home against UCF. On the road to Morgantown, play West Virginia. Back home, BYU, Kansas, BYU, Lawrence, Kansas. And then Oklahoma State and Stillwater. So there's a challenge in this schedule. There's a challenge for Kansas. They're not going to have their longtime quarterback Jalen Daniels. Going to be quite the challenge for the Kansas Jayhawks, in my opinion. I do not have them in the way too early top 25. Alberto Mendoza transferring to Georgia Tech. The backup quarterback for Indiana. They're bringing in Josh Hoover. I do not blame the young man. He wants to play. He's going to go to Georgia Tech. He's going to be the backup at Georgia Tech as well, I think. Are the Gophers number 26? No, they're not. Unfortunately, they are not. Let's see if we can take a close look at the defending, reigning, undisputed Big 12 champions, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Given a closer look, Abilene Christian, Oregon State, they got that home game, Houston, on September 19th. Now, this Houston Cougar team, I've got them in my way too early. You know what? I don't even have Houston here. But I just gave it away. Houston is on the next sheet. Houston is definitely on the next sheet. I think I've got Houston at number 16 or at number 15. Hold on a second. I don't want to give everything away quite yet. Yeah, I've got Houston at number 16. Just ahead of Oklahoma, just right behind Ole Miss. So that's how much I think of Houston's potential going into spring camp and August camp. Willie Fritz. The Red Raiders begin their Big 12 conference schedule against Houston. It's at home. And then the Red Raiders play Sam Houston. Then the first road game for the Red Raiders is at Colorado. At home against Arizona State. On the road, Cincinnati. At home against Arizona. At home against West Virginia. On the road, Oklahoma State. On the road, Baylor. At home against TCU. One of the things, again, the Red Raiders don't play BYU. But also, and I'm not trying to rip on Colorado, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, which I have in the top 25, Baylor. But I think the Red Raiders' more competitive games on the whole for the 2026 season is the games at home. I would rather have Arizona State, TCU at home. That road game in Stillwater, that's going to be a tricky one for the Red Raiders. But that is the Red Raiders football schedule. Let's see if there's any more comments about the release of the football and this is Wad Utes comments on the Utah football schedule. Very nice schedule set up for the Utah Utes in 2026. BYU Cougars at home on week 10. Houston Cougars at home on week 8. Arizona Wildcats away week 11. Cooler weather. 6-0 start is doable. Season will be shaped during weeks 8 and 11. That's Wide Utes comments on the Utah Utes schedule. We've got some breaking news here. We talk about the Duke Blue Devils suing Darren Mensah. Well, what is Duke going to do for the quarterback for 2026? According to Pete Knuckles on 3, Walker Eggett, the San Jose transfer quarterback who's been in the portal, who has thrown for over 5,500 yards, 30 touchdowns. Duke has emerged as the school to watch for the San Jose State quarterback. There it is. While Duke is suing Darren Mensah, trying to hold him to his contract, they are looking out for themselves in the transfer portal. Are all the conferences playing non-conference games? Kind of. Kind of. The Big Ten is. The SEC is. The Big 12 is. The ACC, I believe, has 5 to 6 teams this year. playing 8 conference games. And then the following year, I think there's only going to be 1 or 2 teams, right? 1 team playing 8 conference games. Because they can't get everybody to play 9 conference games in an odd number of conference teams. So yes, all of them are playing 9 conference games, except the SEC is always going to have some teams not playing 9 conference games. They're going to be playing 8 conference games until they lose a team, add a team, something to that effect. Miami quarterback also transferring. What is Houston's schedule? Let me see if we can pop that up on the board real quick here. This is the Houston Cougars schedule for 2026. September 5th, Oregon State. September 12th, Southern. And we talked about it. First game, Big 12 game, is on the road against Texas Tech. Look, that game is going to have 2 top 25 teams in it. Okay? You're gonna have 2 top 25 teams right off the bat. September 19th, Houston, Texas. I mean, on September 12th, you're going to have a Big 12 conference game, Arizona versus BYU, right? That's going to be a top 25 football game. And then on September 9th, you're going to have Houston, Texas. That's going to be a top 25 football game. And then Houston goes and plays Georgia Southern October 3rd at home against UCF. Kansas State October 10th. Oklahoma State October 17th. At Utah October 24th. Cincinnati November 7th. At Colorado. At West Virginia. At home against Baylor. So Houston has home games. UCF, Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, Baylor. Those 4 home games, again, I think Oklahoma State could be tricky. I'm not expecting much as of right now with UCF, Cincinnati, and Baylor. Cincinnati losing the quarterback. I don't know what's really going on at UCF. I'm not a big believer in Scott Frost. We'll see what happens. Baylor with DJ Lagway. You guys know how I feel about that. And then on the road, Colorado, West Virginia, the Utah, Kansas State. I think a lot of people are going to have Houston coming in the top 4 in the Big 12 in 2026. I think that is going to be I think that is going to be a common prediction. For the Houston Cougars. And then let's take a look at the Kansas State Wildcats. They're not going to be playing in Ireland or London or wherever else. So they're not going to have that complication in their schedule like they did last year, the Armageddon game, Iowa State. Cincinnati, September 26th. Houston, at home, October 10th. Rock Chalk Jayhawks, their rival, at home, October 17th. Arizona State, Colorado, October 24th, October 31st, at home against Oklahoma State. TCU, Arizona, Iowa State. So Kansas State does not play Texas Tech. Kansas State does not play BYU. Kansas State does not play Utah. They do have Houston at home. They do have their rival, Kansas, at home. I think they're going to be playing a program that's taken a couple steps back in Iowa State. I think they're going to be playing a program that's going to be taking a step and a half back, TCU. Both of them on the road. Colorado, I don't expect much. We shall see from Colorado on the road. This schedule is pretty... But the new head coach, Colin Klein, this schedule might be a good launching pad. Of course, they're bringing back Avery Johnson. Now, Dylan Edwards went in the portal, and he's playing for Kansas. But this schedule is pretty favorable to the Kansas State Wildcats. I'm looking at this, and I might have to bump up the Wildcats my predictions on where they're going to finish in my way too early Big 12 predictions. Very interesting indeed. I cannot ignore that. That schedule could line up pretty good. Bracket cat, BYU, Utah, Tech, Houston will all be definitely ranked, possibly TCU and Arizona. I do not have Utah ranked. I do have BYU, I have Tech, I have Houston, I got Arizona. I don't have TCU. And I got Oklahoma State. Utah and Tech got the best draws. I expect them in Arlington. I do not expect Utah to be there. We shall see. Am I taking phone calls? I'll take a phone call, sure. I'll take a phone call. Phone lines are open, 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Again, we're just doing about an hour live show to cover the Big 12 football schedule release. If anybody wants to give us a call.
Call from
John Grove.
John Grove, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. I appreciate it.
How are you doing, Flug?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I just wanted to get my 2 quick cents because I just been contemplating this since the announcement of the schedules and how everything was going to unfold. Boy, they favored K-State much more than I anticipated with the schedule. I thought for sure they would. Well, I personally think they made it a little more backloaded, but it's not necessarily the most backloaded competition. Of course, Iowa State will likely be taking a step back, but we haven't been able to beat them for the last couple of years. So I look at that game as a potential trap. You also look at Arizona State on the road on October 24th. That will likely be the biggest test for K-State up till that point as well. So I think the schedule for K-State looks pretty well, but I also want to look at Kansas' schedule real quick because I think they personally got screwed over by the scheduling people at the Big 12. Now, so you start off on September 12th against Missouri at home. That's a big rivalry. All right, non-conference rivalry game. Then you go to London on September 19th. That was already planned. That was already built in by the league before the schedule came out. You get Middle Tennessee State on October 3rd, but these next two road games are just a gauntlet. You go to Utah and K-State. They did KU no favors with this opening stretch of games, and they also did Colorado dirty too, having Texas Tech beat their first conference game after traveling to several non-conference road games. So I don't know. Those are just my first 2 cents on it.
Yeah. I don't, I think Kansas is going to have a very challenging season. But, when you have that London, England game on September 19th, I think this schedule, the Utah-Kansas State game, back-to-back road games, that's pretty tough on October 10th and 7th. But, they do have a week bye. They have a bye after the London game, of course, and then they play Middle Tennessee. So they're going to have enough recovery time before they go to Salt Lake City and play Utah.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad they're not playing a Baylor or a UCF after that, after the where they're playing Utah. But it's going to be a challenging season for Kansas this year. But they do have Colton Nicky back. A lot, so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty big saving grace. They also have a pretty solid quarterback coming in Isaiah Marshall, and we'll see what Dylan Edwards is able to do, given the internal struggles he had last year and everything that unfolded post Ireland. So it'll be very intriguing to see as well. You got some international games to kick. I also on Kansas's note, I'm surprised KU and Arizona State are given one bye, given that they're also going across the pond. TCU starts off in week 0, so they'll have 2 byes, but KU and Arizona State, I thought they would for sure start in. Well, I didn't think they'd play in week 0. I thought they'd play I thought Arizona State would play a team on August 29th in week 0. But I don't know. It's just kind of a different, interesting approach.
Yeah.
But I saw as well. So I don't know. Those are just 2 cents I want to get in as well. Shout out to the Hoosiers and whoever were in the group chat. I wish I was able to call in sooner, but congratulations to them on a job well done in Miami. To go along with that too, a lot of people counted Miami out and Mario Cristobal, but boy, they really made it a heck of a run, to say the very least. But it was a good playoff for just college football. It was healthy for the sport.
Yeah, it was.
That's for certain as well. So I'll let you go,
All
Greg.
right.
Just wanted to get my 2 cents in.
Appreciate it, buddy. Excellent phone call. Thank you, sir. And this is the West Virginia Mountaineers. West Virginia Mountaineers football schedule. At home, they start off Coastal Carolina, UT Martin on neutral game against Virginia, September 19th. Now, that's going to tell us a lot about this West Virginia team, right? At home against Oklahoma State. On the road against Iowa State, which I think, nothing against the Cyclones, but I think that might be a winnable road game for West Virginia. And then at home against Arizona. So the first part of that schedule lines up pretty good, in my opinion, for West Virginia. Cincinnati, TCU. Now, they got a road game at Texas Tech. At home against Kansas, Houston. On the road against Utah. That West Virginia football schedule, much like Kansas State, in my opinion, and Texas Tech. But for teams that are aligned to be in the middle of the conference, a lot of people believe the West Virginia football schedule lines up pretty good for Rich Rod and for Kansas State's head coach. I think this is better than it could have been. I think this might be a pretty good schedule for Rich Rod to get that team going, to get that offense going. There's going to be a lot of changes. The transfer quarterback, Oklahoma, Jaheim White no longer with the program. A lot of changes going on at West Virginia. But that schedule may not punish West Virginia for all the changes they're making. And it's a needed change. A needed cultural change. In my opinion. And now we've got more breaking news. Story Mandel, Duke is expected to enter Darren Mensah's name in the portal today. Duke is also expected to host a visit from San Jose State quarterback Walker Eggett, who entered the portal on January 9th. He was a 2-year starter. So the Duke lawyers, they're going to go ahead and put the man's name in the portal like they're supposed to. But we'll see what happens further down the road in the court cases. Duke believes they have the NIL content of Darren Mensah in their hands. And they're probably going to say, who's ever trying to get him, possibly Miami, you're going to have to buy it from us. You're going to spend some money because we got this contract with this player. We'll see how that all ends up. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We're just going to do an hour-long program trying to cover the Big 12 football release. A lot of people wanted us to do it. We did it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Go back to the start of the program if you just started. It was a little herky-jerky at the beginning because nobody was really talking about these schedules. Eventually, the accounts started putting down this schedule, and we were able to go over most of them. Not a whole lot of national reporters were covering this. But we did the best we could. And on next Tuesday, here at Peek Around the Corner, we're going to be covering live the Big Ten football schedule release. So hope you join us for that. I do very much appreciate it. John Teal with a super chat. $2 holla. Colorado doesn't win 3 games. Prime, what are you doing? I think Colorado is in. I think they're in. I think it's going to be a tough season. I just hope Deion Sanders is okay health-wise. That is my number one worry for Deion Sanders. I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you, John Teal, for the super chat. Keep your head on a swivel. We're planning to come on live again later this evening, or at least do a big old episode. Subscribe to our channel, ring the notification bell, smash the like content if you liked it today. Again, from all of us to all of you, until next time, please y'all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family, Golden Gophers. This has been your Big 12 football schedule release for 2019.